Hello again, everyone, and welcome back again for another video. So it's been a while since I've put out a video, and I actually am kind of behind a little bit here with some of the builds that I wanted to do. But one of the builds that I'm really behind on, because I've been kind of dicking around with it and spacing it off, is my son's upgrade for his computer. Now, his, of course, is the Pacman one that you can find on builds.gg. Here's what it looks like now. We're going to keep the case, because the case was custom painted and what have you. We're going to keep the power supply. We're going to keep the RGB. What we're going to do here is we're just going to give it mainly a hardware change here. 1 second here. There we go. We're going to give it a hardware change here up into the AM5 platform. And then I'm also going to do a little upgrade on his video card. So I'll show you what we got laid out here. First of all, the motherboard is an A620M Pro RS. This is kind of an interesting board because when you look at it, let me pop it out of the box here real quick. Hopefully not damage anything. It actually has only one PCIe slot in it for a graphics card and no other expansion on it. Here, let me set it down here so you can take a look at that. As you can see, there's only the one slot on here and no expansion slots on there. So, I mean, if anything, this could be an ITX, if I wanted to. But ITX would look kind of weird in the case, so I didn't want to go with an ITX. And ATX, I really didn't need that either because, I mean, what kind of expansion is he going to put on it? He just uses it for his emulator games mainly and what have you, and a couple other games he plays. Now, as you can see, this has got, Wi-Fi on it, and a whole bunch of USB ports and stuff. So there's really no need for the extra add-ins anyway, so it's kind of a waste. So it's like, don't need them. So anyways, so that's the board we're going to use here. Let me move this off to the side here. Don't fall. All right. Next with the processor, we're going to go with the AMD Ryzen 5 7600. Like I said, AM5 platform here. I'm moving him up from the AM4. Now, his old CPU is a Ryzen 2700X. His old graphics card is an RTX 2060. Now, I'm going to actually use those in another build. That's, what I'm going to do. I'm going to recycle those parts, build a new computer out of those. Now, I have a new case to put those in already. I've actually had the case for quite a while. So that's going to be coming up, the new case. I'm going to talk about that, and then there's going to be another case after that one in another build. But anyways, carrying on here, our memory, we've got 64 gigs of 5600 megahertz Corsair Vengeance DDR5 RAM. Storage, we're going to bump him up to a 2 terabyte NVMe drive. Team groups are usually a really good buy on these, and the thing of it is my son paid for all this, and we were kind of trying to get the most bang for his buck out of this. So that's kind of why we chose some of the parts that we went with, like the board, for instance, and the CPU. It's the AM5 platform. If you're going to switch over to it, it's a little pricey. But at least this was pretty affordable. Altogether, is about $1,000 worth of stuff. Not too bad. But anyways, right back here we got our video card. We're gonna do the Radeon RX 6700 XT in here, and then right over here, these two boxes are some AirGoo extension cables for the 24-pin and for the VGA. I like the AirGoo. They're just as good as Leon Lee, but half the price. So my son was really liking the cables that I have the Leon Lees in mine, but my daughter also has the AirGoos in hers, and my son just loved them, and he kind of wanted that too. So we're going to pull out his custom cable mod cables, and instead we're going to put the air goo stuff in there for him. So that's going to be a pretty neat little upgrade for him. So let me cut this scene here and start slapping this together, and we'll keep progressing along. We'll talk about it as I'm going along. Okay, so we're progressing here a little bit. I took the board out. I put the CPU in. I put the memory sticks in. I put a temporary cooler on it so that we can do a check on it, make sure it's posting and what have you. And I really advise that you do this before you stick the board and all of your stuff into the casing that you're going to go to, because you might run into problems with it. Maybe you might have to RMA the board. You never know what kind of issues you could come up with. So it's always a good idea to bench test your computer before you do that. Now, I did have a bit of a issue. At first, I got my CPU and DRAM light came on it. So, of course, I had to take all my modules out, try them one by one. I got it to post with one module in, which was cool. I was like, all right, cool. Nothing's wrong with it. And I seen that the BIOS on it, according to the sticker right here, was 1.19. So I went ahead and flashed the BIOS on this before I even got going here, so that we're on the latest BIOS. Powered it back on, set my memory timings, installed Windows 11, and so what we're doing now is I'm just doing some updates and stuff. I'm going to get this basically all set up for him before I even put it into his into his old case. That way he'll have as little downtime as possible, hopefully. That way it'll just be a matter of, taking the old one out, putting it in, and, we're good. So, yeah, so it's looking good so far. We know that it's running without the video card in, of course, because all the AM5s have onboard video in there, so that's a good way to also test it out. Test it out with the integrated graphics. Don't use your video card. That way you could always single that problem out too. That's another reason why you'd want to do a bench test. If you don't have a bench, I actually do have a bench, but I actually have another board bolted down to it right now, and I didn't feel like tearing it off just to bench test this, so I just did it on top of the box right there. I know you can see my sexy legs here. I'm in my shorts. But anyways, so yeah, I'm progressing here. We're going to, when I'm done doing this, then we'll get my boy's case down here and start disassembling that, and then we will continue on. All right, so as you can see here, I got my boy's tower down here in the workshop now, and I'm starting the disassembly process on this. This is going to be fun. Mainly, I want to resort out my wires because I'm going to have to configure this a little bit different. I'm just kind of doing an assessment right now of what I put in here for RGB, because I knew it was all Corsair, but I couldn't remember what all was Corsair. We got the lighting core right there. Our lighting node pro right here, a lighting commander right there, I'm sorry. And, of course, the RGB hub. This stuff's pretty dusty on the inside there, but actually not as bad as I expected it to be. Mainly, so what I'm doing right now is just really taking off like these plastic tie downs. Going ahead around here and just pulling these off. Because I'm actually going to, of course, redo this because I'm going to, pull the fans out and clean them with some alcohol to get all the grime and what have you off and make them blow a little bit better than what they are, than what a normal cleaning can do. And I can't remember if Corsair fans have the oiling port on the back of the sticker. I'm going to tear one apart and see. I don't recall if it does, and I'm going to re-oil them up. These are pretty good fans. These, got the LL120s in here. Let me check something real quick here. They have the LL120s in here is what I use now. I was almost thinking of going with like the QL120s and switching them up, but didn't really want to add that expense, because my boy is the one that, of course, like I said before, is the one that paid for this, and I didn't want to throw that on him just for a little bit of extra RGB in here. But hopefully we should be able to recoup a pretty decent amount when this one gets resold off. Now, this one here, I'll show you what we got going on in here. We got the RTX 2060 going on there. We got the G-Skill Trident Z Royal memory right here. This is the gold stuff, and it really sucks that I got to get rid of this. I don't know if they make it in the DDR5 yet. Maybe they do. I just haven't really checked, but I'm sure if they did, that would be pretty pricey. I'm not even going to price it, so, I guess it is what it is. But, yeah, whoever's going to get this computer is going to get some really, really nice modules here. That's for damn sure. So what you'll be getting then is the RTX 2060, 32 gigs of PC 3600 memory. That's what's in here. Yep. And of course the motherboard, which is a B450 Aorus Pro Wi-Fi. That's going to go in another case. That's going to be coming up on my channel here, but that's kind of what to expect here. I'm not going to use these in here. Like I said, I'm going to change these out for some RGB extensions. So we'll go ahead and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. I think I'm just going to save them because I think I'm going to use this again. Maybe, unless I have another 8-pin EPS, then I can have a full set and then take these. These here were actually custom cable mod cables, so I have these actually custom colored like that, the way you see them right there. And it would be a damn shame to toss those out and not put them back to use again. But we'll just set these over here in the pile there for a bit. But all right, I'm gonna cut the scene here, and what I'm gonna do next is basically, like I said, I'm gonna gut all this out of here. I'm gonna take all the fans out, clean them, reassemble them, put them back together, and put everything back in, and we'll keep this scene going when I get back. Okay, so I am progressing along here. I've got the build pretty much completed. A little bit more to go on it. Just wanted to cover the RGB a little bit here. I'll let you take a look at it here. As I had mentioned before, I've got these strips here, the 24-pin and the ones for the VGA that have like 120 LEDs in them. Now, to get this to run on Corsair iQ, what I have it set at, let me switch my keyboard here real quick. Where's my mouse? Okay, there we go. I have these, the extensions hooked up to the Commander Pro. And I have those actually set up as, I don't know if we can see this on the screen or not, if you can read that. I have it set up as external RGB light strips. Setting them as external will let me put a lot more lights on there than what I needed to. So I have it set up as an external RGB light strip, and I told it 5 strips were connected, and right underneath it where it says select the number of 450 millimeter strips, I selected 2. So remember that on these, and then also on the Leon Lee Streimers, if you're going to integrate these with Corsair, you're going to use them as an external RGB light strip, and you're going to set it to 5 strips with 2 450 millimeter strips, and that will give you the full display here for the thing. Otherwise, only a partial number of them will light up. Only like maybe 2/3 of them, say, are going to light up if you have it done the normal way with like normal strips with like say 4 strips set or whatever. So yeah, you kind of have to set it like that in order to get the full effect from these RGB strips. That is pretty much the major aesthetic change in this that's went on, I guess, with the RGB. Other than that, all the other RGB is what was in here before. We got the regular strips going on right here, up around here. I don't know if we can see it. I'll show it at the end, but we got some strips going on around here as well. So I mean, yeah, and I haven't even hooked the fans up yet. That's coming up next here. I'm gonna do that here when I cut the scene. But that's pretty much all I have left is to hook my fans up and well, I guess put the graphics card in, do a little bit of testing on it, and then we're done. So I'm gonna quit blabbing here. It's actually 5:28 in the morning. I've actually been working on this through the night because, well, I didn't want my son to have that much downtime on his computer, and I said, tell you what, as soon as you go to bed tonight, he goes to bed about midnight or so. I said, let me know when you go to bed. I'll come in, I'll get your computer, and then I'll tear it down, start working on it for you. And so that's what I've been doing here all night. I'm getting kind of tired, actually. I should go get me some coffee, actually. But I'm going to go, shit, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and cut this scene and continue on with this build. And we'll see you here in just a second. Let me switch this keyboard over. All right, so I finally got to the point where I'm coming in for that home stretch win. And before I do that, though, and show you the final on this, let's go ahead and give you some stats on this. Let's go ahead and open up Task Manager so you can see what's going on. We'll go to Performance here. And under CPU, as you can see, we've got the AMD Ryzen 5 7600. Memory, we are running 64 gigs of Crucial Vengeance RGB memory in here at 5600 megahertz speed. Disk 0 is a 2 terabyte Team Group NVMe drive. And GPU 1, which is our main GPU, is an AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT. 12 gig. Itch there, sorry. So that's our hardware in here. Let's take a look at some of our benchmarks. Unigine Heaven benchmark, as you can see, we scored 347 frames a second with a minimum of 13.4 and a max of 634.7 frames a second. Bitchin'. All right, and under, let's find it here. It's going to be under Cinebench. Cinebench, under the multi-core, it scored a 13,804. Nice score there. And under the single core, we wiped up and scored a 1,846, beating them all. Nice stats right there. This is a nice little running computer here. My son is going to love this. He's been waiting all day. I actually kind of delayed this a bit because I had some stuff to do, and well, it was getting, you know, pretty late in that last scene there. It's going on in the morning, so I took a little nap, got up, and finished it up. But anyways, here, let's go ahead and turn on the 4K cam, and I'll let you have a look here at the finished product, starting with the front here. As you can see, we've got 3 LED strips here going on around the perimeter that are going there, and then of course we got our fans up in front there. Our vintage emblem right here. Now this actually came from Polaris Industries themselves. I got my boss a couple of years ago. He got me these. These were these go on the Indian motorcycle vintage edition ones, and that's actually what that is there. It's an actual emblem from an Indian motorcycle. I've got 2 of them, one here and one on the power supply. But let me turn this here a little bit here so we can have a look at this. On the inside here, now I did put the AIO up on top. It was down here on the side. I just, for a little bit of better airflow. The thing about this case, it's a cool looking case, but it's like all glass up front, so all your air intake is coming in right here. I didn't think that was really sufficient, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I was wrong, but I would have had and put that up on top, so we got that up on top there. Then our fan in the back, and then of course our extensions right there are new. So that added to the RGB. Then we got 4 RGB strips here. 2 on the bottom, 1 on the back wall, and 1 right there on that wall. And then, of course, your RGB memory. And then, of course, you can see it right there. His little Pacman thing going right there, making its little animation. Looks like the screen's got a little bit of burn there. You can see that Republic of Gamers sword kind of, if you look in there, kind of burning on there. This AIO's, it's a couple years old, so I suppose, you run it a bunch with the same image, it's going to get that burn in. But, it still works, so we'll keep using it until we need to change that out and eventually someday or whatever, and then, we'll worry about that later. But anyways, other than that, we are good to go here. That's it. So this one's done. Finally got it out of the way. I'm sure my son will be happy to get his computer back. He's been waiting all day for this. Just kind of, you done yet? Are you done yet? But, all right, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. I will see you in the next one, hopefully within the coming week here. I got to see how much time I got to do shit. As I had mentioned before, the next build is going to be using the old AM4 stuff that I gutted out from here, and we're going to build something cool out of that one. I definitely have a plan in mind for that one. Since I was looking at that board, I have a nice theme in mind here that I'm going to do on that, and that will be coming up, and it's going to be done in a new case that I haven't talked about yet. That was this one? No, this one I bought. The next one after that, though, is going to be one that was sent to me. So, yeah. So I got a new case to talk about in my next video. Whenever that's going to be, wherever that's going to be. So I will see you guys around. I will see you in the next video. And, well, I guess, thanks again for watching. Let me cut this off. And see you later.